So one of the first things I kind of realized about this prompt is that, like, your first thought was like, oh, that's awesome. It's just like a week vacation. But you can't really do anything, right?
Because everyone's on vacation.
Everyone's on vacation. Like, everything's closed. Like, you can loot. That's kind of it. That's your leisure activity.
I'm
looting.
bored. I'm gonna loot.
I mean, like, what else are you gonna do?
See, it's funny. I was thinking about like, you know, there's no police officers. All this law enforcement is gone. But it's not like it's legal now.
Yeah.
The judges and police are gonna be back to work on Monday.
Right.
And video cameras are a thing that exists.
So yeah, you can't just go around like killing people because
Well, not where there's any cameras.
Right. Well, I mean, I think in general, there's still going to be like evidence and stuff that it will pick up eventually.
Yeah, if you're gonna do a crime anyway, this would be the week. But don't do crimes that you wouldn't have done otherwise.
Hilariously, actually, slight callback. I did realize you could not steal the Declaration of Independence during this time because it's down in that vault, which you would know if you listened to our 4th of July episode. And that will not be able to be brought up. So it is very safe right now.
You'd be able to get there, though, to the vault.
You could get there. You could get to the vault, but no further.
And you'd have Nicolas Cage for like a whole week because he's got no other plans. He's not working.
He's not working. I mean, what's he doing now? What movies does he do?
That's a really good question. Anyway, so I mean, it's actually not as cool as it seems because they're kind of just be like hanging out. So I started to go through some sort of like disaster scenario sort of things, but like one of the first things I realized was that I thought about like nuclear plants. Are they going to like melt down? But it turns out apparently nuclear plants, they have so many fail safes, you know, for some reason. I mean, they're just going to shut themselves down before anything bad actually happens. And that probably wouldn't actually happen in a week. So they're probably going to be pretty fine. Except
a week isn't very long.
A week is not very long. The one issue we're going to run into with power, though, that I found out, sort of segueing from that nuclear plant possibility, is that in like a coal burning power plant, they, it seems, can only go about 2 to 4 hours generally at best without like some kind of manual intervention to like load more coal.
Yeah, I was surprised to learn that they actually have like just trucks like shoveling fucking coal onto a conveyor belt, like a choo-choo train. And I guess that's really that's the sign to me that it's an outdated technology.
But the problem we run into is that coal makes up about 30% of this country's power generation. Natural gas is a similar story to coal, both in it's also about 30% and sort of similar like need manual intervention because it's super dangerous situation. So once those plants start shutting down, which will happen probably within the first day, what's going to happen is as they shut down, it's going to increase the draw on other power plants that wouldn't necessarily be affected. And their emergency fail-safes to stop them from working over capacity will make them shut down too. And you're just going to have a rolling blackout that goes across the entire country.
So no power. No power
after, you know, like the first half day or so.
Man, everything's just going to be really boring.
Well, maybe not super boring because of a couple other things that I realized. There's going to be some excitement, just maybe not the kind you want, particularly from a couple of things that I found. So, one of the first ones I found that was kind of fun. Sewage treatment plants are a bit of a problem.
Yeah, we gotta talk about the poop problem.
Yeah, we actually do have a poop problem this week. A very real poop problem. Quick side note, sewage treatment plants actually very cool, it turns out. They're basically just like a microbiological ecosystem that just processes stuff. That's really cool.
You know, assuming there's power.
Well, yeah. So you can't stop the inflow because if you stopped the inflow, the pressure would just make toilets and streets overflow with raw sewage, which is not good. So, like, I saw a thing where somehow something got dumped into the water supply and it killed off like all of the biological stuff that like actually processes things. And they had to just, like, dump out, like, ammonia and raw sewage into the river because it was worse to not do that. So, sewage kind of an issue.
Thought you were going fishing on your week off, huh? How about you're really up Schitt's Creek now.
A couple other places that I saw that were going to wind up having some pretty severe issues, mostly because of this whole, you know, power thing. So, combination of lack of manpower and lack of literal power. It's going to be a pretty bad situation in hospitals.
Yeah, that one's a little sad.
I kind of stayed away from that.
Can we skip that one? We accept that that's going to be bad for very sick people.
Yeah, we're just going to say it's bad and move on because, yeah, it's not fun. Other one that's also pretty not fun, prisons. Power, pretty important to prisons.
Yeah, I guess you really have just two options. Either it's on lockdown or it's
Well,
not.
and so the problem we have too is that like all of the security systems require power. So even if it's not like either you're stuck in your cells and then that's not a good look, or they're not and they can just kind of escape because there's no guards and also no like cameras or anything. And also just a fun little wrinkle on top of that is that prisons are heavily reliant on powered ventilation systems. So the oxygen levels are actually going to start dropping pretty quickly, apparently. And the temperatures are going to start rising. And that's a bad thing. So maybe it's kind of a good thing they can get out. Because otherwise they're probably going to die. So I'm sorry I always bring such depressing situations to the table on this podcast. It's apparently just what I do.
Yeah, well, at least it wasn't, at least you stopped on the hospitals and you weren't just like, well, the ventilation, hospitals rely on a ventilation system.
Right, yeah, I try to just ignore that part because that one's also sad.
I actually also looked at the prison thing, but assuming that the power didn't go off, and basically just assuming that everyone is in their cells and that, like, the guards would just walk away, and everyone would die of dehydration instead.
Yeah, I thought about that too. But I realized it was not going to probably be a factor long enough to get there.
Well, I think humans can live like tops a week, I think.
3-3-3.
I think it's a week, yeah.
I think it's like,
No, it's
3 days for water, 3 weeks for food.
3 minutes without air, 3 days without food, without water, and 3 weeks without food.
So it's 3 days. See, they would die after 3 days.
There's toilets. They're probably still dead. But yeah, it's not fun. So, sorry, prisoners.
Actually, you could make it with a toilet's worth of water. You have to poop in the corner, but you could do it.
All that I know about prisons is what I see in movies. And do they have like just normal toilets?
I don't think they're straight normal toilets. I'm not sure though.
They have the toilets that are insecurely fastened to the wall, so you can make an epic escape in a
Exactly.
movie.
But yeah, so those are the main things I kind of looked at. Once I realized the power thing, things kind of just cascade from there, and it becomes pretty much just like this is basically a post-apocalypse at this point. Pretty bad.
Like a zombie movie.
We should not take a week national/world vacation.
Okay, let's all agree not to do this.
Yeah, we'll work on a schedule.
Well, how about you two agree not to do it? Well, we gotta see how the other side is to know that we shouldn't. So you guys work for a week. I will take a week off, and then we'll compare notes at the end.
I don't like this plan.
Yeah, I don't agree with this.
Well, I guess one of you two could join me, but we need someone in the control group.
Dibs.
Damn it.
Sorry.
Well, shit. All right.